What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Occula RDA. Alright guys, so the random question of the day is, if you had $1 million to build whatever you wanted, what would you build and why? I think I would use it to build a kick-ass tree house. I would have little pod rooms with little tunnels in between them. I'd have a zip line and a rope swing and all sorts of other stuff on it. It would just be awesome. That's what I would use my $1 million to build, so I want to hear from you guys. What would you build with $1 million? Let me know right down there in the comment section. So today we've got the Occula RDA from Twisted Messes and Augvape, with a big huge shout out and thank you going to Augvape for allowing me to take a look at one of these devices for the purpose of making this video. So I've had this device for quite some time, but I basically forgot to do a review on it. I used it for a couple of weeks, then I got something new in, and I had the shiny thing syndrome, and I went and tested that instead. So I'm finally doing my review of the Occula RDA, and I do apologize for the lateness of this video. So taking a quick look online, this device comes in two different color options. You have a black version and a stainless steel version, and it's only going to run you about $28. So with that being said, if you guys want to grab one of these for yourself, I'll have a link on my website. Link to that is right down there in the description below. They're also available on twistedmesses.com, and I do have a permanent coupon code with him. It's just Daily Vape TV for 10% off. But without any further ado, let's dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've got the Occula in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll talk about what's inside. So as you can see here, it's got this nice little display window, so you can see the product right from the outside of the box, which is great. Augvape logo right there, Twisted Messes logo right there. We've got a color indication sticker, mine is black, as you can see right there from the front, and the big old Occula logo right down there at the bottom. On this side, we have the Twisted Messes logo. It's going to be very, very difficult to see because it's in a light printing. We have an Augvape logo on the top and bottom, and on the back of the box, just some basic stuff. A little tiny write-up of the device itself, nothing that indicates what's in the box. We have a scratch and check authentication and some company information and some warnings down there at the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look inside the box and see what we get here. Well, first thing is this little fold-out instruction manual. It's fold out. The printing's pretty small and there's no color graphics, so -5 points, Augvape. Come on, we can get better booklets. Not that you really need a booklet with an RDA, but with that, we've got the cap piece right here, which we'll take a better look at in just a second. Putting that off to the side, we have the deck piece right here, which I'm not going to show you quite yet because it's still got my build on it, and I want to save that for a little bit later, but there you go. And over here, we've got the spare parts. Now, you'll notice that it doesn't come with spare screws. That's because the screws on this thing are huge and chunky and probably expensive to manufacture, so they didn't end up putting one spare in the box, which kind of sucks because if you do tend to break screws, or you just so happen to break one of those screws, you're pretty much, well, screwed. You get a set of O-rings and a squonk pin and an Allen key, and that's it in the box there. There's nothing underneath this foam piece. As you can see, it's empty. Alright guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, it's 24 millimeters in diameter. It has a 5.5 millimeter deep juice well, 304 superior stainless steel construction, expansive dual post build deck with one terminal per post, dual post captive clamp system, top secured via hex shaped Phillips screws, peak insulated throughout, single or dual coil configuration, dual triple snake bite airflows located on mid cap, knurled top cap airflow adjustment control. It comes with an 810 Delrin drip tip with metal accent ring and a gold-plated 510 squonk pin. Alright guys, so let's take a look at the parts of the Occula RDA, starting off with the drip tip up top here. As you can see, it's a black Delrin drip tip with a little bit of a gold accent ring. Very short, very stout. Otherwise, nothing too super fancy about this thing. Nice wide bore all the way through there, as you can see. And personally, not a big fan of these short, wide drip tips, but if you are, then you get one in the box with this thing. Of course, it's going to be compatible with all of your other drip tips, as it has an O-ring inside the lip of the airflow control section up top here. Just to show you guys, I've got this tip that I've been using with it lately, and it fits really nice and snug, and I've had zero issues with it whatsoever. Controlling the airflow is fairly simple. All you have to do is rotate this top section around like so, and you can see it cutting off the holes. And you can also even use it in a single coil mode by rotating the barrel a certain direction, and you'll get one side fully open and the other side fully closed, just like that, as you can see there. So you can either use it in single or dual coil mode. However, I think that was a little bit of an afterthought, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work as well as they think it does. If I remove the airflow control section completely, you can see how this is accomplished with the big long fin on this side here and the little short fin on this side, so you can have it completely wide open in dual coil coil mode or completely closed off on single coil mode. Otherwise, it has a single O-ring up top here, which I have no issue with, and it has a dome at the top, which means the flavor is that much better. So on the barrel section, we can see the Occula logo right there, and that's really the only cool thing about this barrel section. Other than that, it has a little bit of a concave channel running all the way around it for no apparent reason. I don't really see any sort of functionality behind that whatsoever, but it's there. We also have these generously sized airflow holes, which are cut in a sort of rainbow configuration and angled downwards. Now, I don't think this actually improves the overall performance of the airflow. In fact, I feel like it could actually be a hindrance, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So here's the build deck with my build still in it. I just wanted to show you guys exactly how I've been rocking this thing since I started using it. I feel like the most prominent feature with this one here is these gigantic screw heads. And here's the build deck without any coils in it. As you can see, these posts are absolutely massive. I really like the design of these screws. The clamps go up and down as you screw them up and down. Very, very simple, nothing to get in the way there, and the screws themselves are not going to push the wire to the outside and not be able to trap them. So really good deck design on this one here. I do enjoy building on this thing. Really a good builder's RDA. I feel like a lot of these guys that are building the exotic wires out there are going to absolutely love building on this thing. Also, room underneath the posts for not only airflow, but also squonking, as you can see there. The juice well is fairly average at 5.5 millimeters, and on the edges here, you can see the little locking tabs that line up with the inside barrel section. As you can see here, you can see the little slots where you can rotate the barrel a little bit to center your airflow. And with that, we have two O-rings down here at the bottom, which hold that cap nice and secure in place. And on the very bottom of the RDA, we can see a pretty cool idea for the logo placement around the 510 connection. You can see the gold-plated 510 connection, and also designed by Twisted Messes and Augvape with a serial number right down here. And that's pretty much what I've got for you guys in this little close-up section. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is the post design itself. It's very reminiscent of the Passage RDA, which I really liked, and this one here has that big chunky screw trapping the top wire and the big block capturing the bottom wires. You don't have to cross over your leads with this one here, so you basically just slide your coils right in, and it's very, very easy to build. My second pro for this one is the chunky screws themselves. They are amazing. I have no issue with them stripping, and you can actually use a full-size screwdriver with these ones. In actuality, you could use a variety of tools, which is kind of nice, and with that, I have zero issues with stripping or worrying about these things just getting damaged when I really wrench on my coils. And my third pro today is that, in my opinion, this thing is a builder's RDA. If you're a builder out there and you like to install some really wide, flat coils, thick wire, or anything like that, where it's very exotic and very photogenic, then I think this is going to be the RDA for you, because this thing not only looks really good in pictures, but it's just so simple to install these really big chunky coils. And my fourth and final pro for this one is the price versus the build quality. Now, as I mentioned, this thing is less than 30 bucks, and I gotta say, for that price point, this thing is actually really, really solidly built. I have no fear that the posts or the screws are gonna break on me, and this thing is gonna remain in my collection for a very long time. I'm all about value for your money on this channel, and I gotta say, this one is a very, very good value. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is the airflow system. Now, the build deck is fantastic, however, I feel like the airflow system could use some work. Now, as far as the rainbowed, kind of slanted downward pattern of the airflow goes, it's just really difficult to position your coil correctly without getting some sort of turbulence or noise with this one here. It's a very loud RDA, and yes, there are some adjustments that you can do with the twisting barrel and airflow control, but with that, at the end of the day, you always end up with either too much or too little airflow, and it's just, I'm not the biggest fan of it. My second con for this thing is definitely subjective, but I am not a big fan of this drip tip. It really does nothing for me, and I just do not like the short and stout drip tips in general. You end up putting your mouth more on the top cap than you do on the drip tip itself, which basically defeats the purpose. Why bother having a drip tip in the first place? And my third and final con for this thing is once again subjective, but the overall aesthetic just does nothing for me. It's very bland and boring. It has a little bit of a sort of knurling around the top airflow control section, which is nice, but otherwise a very plain and odd looking barrel section. It does have a slight indentation around the middle section, which I didn't even notice it until today, really, so not sure why they did that in the first place, but otherwise it's just bleh. It's nothing. It's blah, and I just don't like it. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for review? I'm going to say no to this one because the build deck is, yes, really, really nice, but I already have that in the Passage RDA, and this airflow system is by far inferior in my opinion. So yeah, it does nothing other than that for me. It doesn't really spark any interest as far as the looks department goes. It's just kind of boring. So yeah, I'm going to have to say no for me personally. I could see this being appealing to those of you out there that build those really wide frame staples or pitchforks or interlocks or anything like that, those really crazy exotic builds. Yeah, I'm sure this one would be really much for you, but with that in mind, I am not that type of person, so I'm gonna have to say pass on this one. But if you're interested in this whatsoever, make sure you check out either twistedmesses.com and use a coupon code DailyVapeTV, or follow the link on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to ring that notification bell. You might have to re-sign up for notifications because YouTube is being a pain in the ass lately. Leave your comments in the box below and check out the links I've got in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.